So I included some links in the. Hold on, I forgot 30 seconds. Okay, so I think maybe hopefully I won't get too cut off. So anyway, I was looking at some stocks today, looking at investments. You guys know the whole GME thing. What I learned from the GME situation is I really don't want to play with too much on volatile stocks. Now, my last volatile play is going to be CCIV most likely. And then from there, I think I'm just going to go mostly, like I have been before, with safe investments. So what I found out was that I found out a website that I can look at the year-to-date return about investments. And the thing about this is this. So I sometimes people usually think like, hey, they have some money. You know what? They're not going to get rich. Just spend it. And I see that like over and over again. So for the longest time, ever since like I can remember, I know people when they have some money, when they have extra spending money, what they do is that they immediately spend it because they think to themselves, oh yeah, this is never gonna amount to anything. I see those people who make it in life. I can't make it in life. But there's this really wonderful thing called compounding interest and just letting money grow over time, and I've seen it work with countless of people. So again, this is not financial advice. This is just me ranting as usual, and I wanted to share with you what I plan to do if I had a kid, and um, what exactly I would do to try and set them up. So I know for a lot of people, when they have a child, their number one concern is to pay for college or to make sure that they have the best foot forward. Now, I have no kid on the way. Just want to tell you guys that. I don't know when I'm going to have a kid, but I do want to have a kid one day. And this is something that I've been thinking about for a really long time. And I think about this because when I was growing up, I went to a private school, as you guys know. It's not because my family is rich, it's because they sacrificed a lot. And I did not learn about investing. It's one of those things that really saddens me when I think about it. You pay, let's say, I think when I graduated, it was like $10,000 a year for a private school education. And it wasn't in the curriculum about how to make money. It was just these little foo-foo things about, and like the typical stuff like pre-calculus, trigonometry, history, social studies, chemistry, of course PE, art, religion, that kind of stuff. And I feel like when I went to private school, it did not tell me, it did not, drill it into my head. Hey, try to be smart about your money. I did not have home economics either. I think actually, what I think about, I think we had this one class where we tried to find recipes and we made something, but that was it. It was just like a one-time deal. There is no focus in the current education system. I think so. Maybe a lot changed since I graduated high school, but it's sad. It really depresses me about this because it's not just about your hourly wage. It's also about how much you can save. So I see people, again, they think, oh, they're just gonna spend all their money to buy all these like luxury things, all these expensive things, and what happens? They lose their money. Yeah, 10,000 a year for a private school education. Now, this is when I graduated. Okay, now a lot of the private school educations in Hawaii are now like $24,000 a year or something like that. It's crazy. I mean, this is not just for high school. This can be from like kindergarten. So can you imagine paying 24K for a kindergartner to go to school for 1 year? 24K. Ridiculous. So, and I understand the idea. The idea behind private school education is parents want to make sure their kid has the best foot forward, so they invest in this education, thinking that the kid will be, better than their peers. And I can tell you from my experience, that is not the case. I know people who went to my high school. They work at minimum wage jobs. They don't make that much money. So please do not think going to a private school indicative of success in life. It is not. You have to, if a kid wants to be successful, it all has to do with how their drive, how they present themselves, and how much, how persistent they are about certain things. And now it's tougher, because of the economy. So I wanted to go off into this little spiel because I wish that I had learned this back when I was growing up. If I had invested early on with the money, that I had from working when I was younger, I could have made a lot more money just with compound interest. So there are two sites that I want to share with you. Both of them are inside of the description. I found this one today. So it's called, you can tell this is not professional setup over here. Okay, so it's called year-to-date return, and I was looking for this for over 2 weeks. I was thinking to myself, I see about the year-to-date return for some stocks. Like they'll tell me, like if I look at, let's say for instance, Walmart, it tell me, well, not this one, but like on Robinhood, they'll tell me how much it grew for a whole year, or it doesn't have the information where it tells me like where it started exactly, unless I like physically look at it and then where it ends. So I have to figure out the percentage myself. I was thinking to myself, there has to be an easier way, right? With all these like programs, has to be a freaking simpler way. So this website, if you look at it, let's look at Apple over here. If you scroll down, you can actually see the share performance. So for instance, if I want to look at between January 1st, 1995 and February 8, 2001, I can calculate it. So let's look at, let's say January, let me see, January 1st, let's see, when I got Clio was 2012 and then up to now. So if I had put $10,000 in Apple on January 2012 to currently, let's see what the year to date would have been. Look at the return, guys. So my return from January 3rd, 2012 to today, well actually, no, it says February 5th, 2021. My return would have been 980%. So my $10,000 investment would have turned into $108,000. Just holding it, okay? So instead of me buying just the MacBook and not doing anything, if I had just bought into Apple, I would have made, I would have 10 times my money. And I also like it because it tells me what the average annual total return is. Let me see over here. And I don't know if it's I don't know why this number is different than this one. It's kind of strange. But you see like this one's 29% and then this one is 28%. I don't know why it's a little, oh, no, it's with dividends invested and without dividends invested. So if I didn't reinvest the dividends, like Robinhood doesn't, I use Robinhood, by the way. If Robinhood didn't have the dividends reinvested, yeah, I would have had 28.32% average over the last, 9 years or so. See? So the whole idea behind this is that you really just, if you invest your money into a company that you believe will move forward, you will make more money. So look, Apple is 28%. Remember that, okay? I'm just going to go with the dividends not reinvested, okay? Now let's see if I got over to a stock like Walmart. You guys hear about Walmart. People say it's like the safe stuff. I invested into Walmart because I heard it was recession proof. So if I had invested, let me go back to 2012, all the way up to today. So without the dividends reinvested, I would have made about 11% annual return. And this is the reason why it's important. So you probably think like, okay, Erica, what's the big difference between like 28% and 11%? So we're looking at about 9 years. So if you go to this website called Investment Calculator, starting amount, remember the whole Apple thing? Let's just say $10,000, right? After 10 years, and let's say we had 28% return. Let's say we don't contribute anything yearly, right? We're like, this would have grown to $118,000. Now, if this was 11% instead of 28%, this would have only been $28,000. You see, so there's a big difference there. And that's why when I was looking at this, I was thinking to myself, Okay, yeah, people talk about Walmart being a really safe stock, but when I think about investing into a long term, I rather invest it into a company that has um year to date return. I feel is really, damn it. I feel like it's really good at trying to gauge, or you have a better indicator about like which stock you feel like is more stable. Now, Walmart is a very safe stock. I don't see Walmart going anywhere, but instead of doing Walmart, you could also do something like QQQ, which is an ETF. So let's go back over here and let's see if I had invested in 2012 up to here, right? I'm just going to go with 2012. Okay, hold on. So this thing saves the information. So sometimes it'll just like stack on top of it. So you see I did Walmart. If you want to delete it, you just click close window. So QQQ, if I did dividends without reinvested, so it would have gone up about 21% annual return over the last 9 years versus Walmart, it's only 11%. So this one, right? If I did 21%, dang it, I hate that. Yeah, it would be a sizable amount of money. And I just think like holding it on to 10 years, okay, if I had a kid, right? And I invested $10,000 into that kid when the kid is born, and then I held it on to 18 years, the kid would have this much money. Assuming it's about 21% return rate. So my thinking is that I know it's like $10,000 is a pretty big chunk of money, but if you can save money for your kid and put it in some sort of investment account, and you feel pretty confident about the return rate, your kid can also can have a pretty damn good foot in life. And then if the kid doesn't touch this, right? Let's just say, right? The kid doesn't touch it for additional 10 years. So the kid is 18. So that would be 28 years, right? Yeah, 18 plus 10. I don't know if I'm doing it right or what, but that is something. You see? So this is the whole balance. You can see that it slowly moves at 21%. And I know it seems pretty damn aggressive, but look. So you have the start balance, and then the interest for the first year is $12,100. And then 2 years, right? It's like 2 years you might think like what money am I making? It's just $14,000, right? And then 3 years, so you can see it slowly growing. It takes about 4 years? Yeah, 4 years to double or so. But after that, it just grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And I have told you guys this before when I talk about stocks. Like, yeah, you can invest some money, right? But don't expect to see it grow too much if you put a small amount of money. So if you invest, let's say $1,000 into a stock, it goes up 10% in one day, or 20%. Like Mara went up 20% today. So Mara going up 20% today, I invested $1,000. It's like $200. But if I invested like $10,000, $100,000, it just grows exponentially. And that's how some people, you hear about people being like longtime investors, and they said, oh, I've been investing for a long time. And people might think like, oh yeah, it's already gone, I can't invest anymore. If you pick a pretty damn good stock, it will just keep growing and growing and growing. And you can see, like, you might not see much of a gain, but slowly over time, right? In 10 years, if you're holding on, let's say, to, like, what was that stock? QQQ, I think. Yeah, so this is, like, 21% average return, right? If you're holding on to QQQ for 21% return, and you hold it on for 10 years or so, or more, right? Assuming QQQ is still around. QQQ has been around. So this is the reason why I bring up QQQ. So QQQ is an ETF, and you guys can look it up. I should have linked it over here. But allegedly, it is the #1 highest, best performing large cap growth fund based on total return over the past 15 years by Lipper. So I'm a fan of QQQ, not financial advice. This is something that I like because you guys know with the whole GME situation, like, yeah, you might get like 100% growth in one like 1 week or a couple days, but it's a lot of stress. And I'm still in the negative for GME, but thankfully I think I'm just in the negative for like 50, yeah, like 500, $600. That was a very eye-opening experience to me because I do not want to chase that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to continue doing stuff like this passively and see what happens. I really recommend though, if you don't want to just do QQQ, you can also do something else. I'm a big fan of ARKK, but some people say this is a really aggressive stock. So let me show you how aggressive this stock is. So let's say, I don't think, ARKK was not around in 2012. I think it started around 2014. But if I had invested back in 2014 when it went up, right? My $10,000 investment would have turned into about 80,000 over here. And then you can see the average rate of return over here is 38%. So I thought to myself, like, holy crap. So let's go back over. I've been playing around with numbers. Let's go back over here, 38%. And this is super freaking aggressive, okay? Like, this is kind of crazy. But let's just say, just for shits and giggles, let's just say. Like, really? Like, that's kind of scary. $10,000, you hold on to it for 28 years, you don't invest any more money, but if your rate of return is 38%, 82 million. So I think, and this is just me talking about it. I really think, when you hear about those long-term investors, they cash out just because they make a lot of money just because they've been holding a long time. I had a teacher when I was in business college in Hawaii, and he said, he claims he was worth, a ton of money, millions and millions of dollars. So he taught because he loved teaching and he wanted to make a difference, not because of the salary. Allegedly, I don't know if this is true or not, but he said that, he just said like he could care less about the teacher salary because he wanted to make a difference in the world. But he always encouraged people to invest, and that was something that really lingered with me. And I remember I was talking to him about investing, and he casually mentioned that because of his investments, because he's been investing for, I think, over 20 years, if I remember correctly, he said there are some days he can just make a person's salary in one day. And, just because he has that much volume of money going into investing. And I graduated in college, quite some time ago. So I know the stocks that went up. So he's even richer than he was when I spoke to him before. Yeah. So that's how the rich really get richer. And I encourage you all, this is not stock advice, this is just my opinion, but I encourage you guys all to save your money, look into stocks or look into ETFs if you're very risky. Just I would be putting $10,000 into an account for the kid, and I would try to do the calculations. And what I would probably do is I would do ARKK and I would also do QQQ. And then if one is outpacing the other or one goes down, like, I don't really care too much if it averages out. I know that there is overlap, but I don't know how often I would be checking this. And ARKK I think is great. I think ARKW is really good as well. I look at the chart and I think it's pretty damn great. So if I had if I had a kid, and let's say the average rate of return came out to, let's just say 20% a year, I think the kid, I think the kid would be really happy if I said, hey kid, I invested $10,000 when around the time you were born for your future, and yeah, you can have $266,000 for yourself. And I don't know what my kid would do if I had a kid, but I like to think my kid would save their money and invest their money. And Oh, the other thing too is that I would not make this a surprise for the kid as well. I would tell the kid as, I would try to encourage the kid as they're getting older. Hey, do you want to see your little portfolio? And I want to show the kid and like, hey, look, you have all this. See, it went up a little. And they might be like, oh, okay, 12, okay, 14, 17, 20. And the kid might be 4 years old. I don't know if the kid's going to understand $10,000 doubling to $20,000 in the event that it hits 20% return, right? Assuming this is consistent. But I would explain it to the kid like, hey kid, you know how you have $5? Yeah? Okay. If you wait and you hold on to your $5, it might turn into $10. But you just gotta wait. You gotta wait until you get older, and then yeah, your money will grow. Imagine instead of having $10, you had like $100, and if you invested $100, it'll turn to $200. So, I would want my kid to see this thing grow, and I think by having them see these numbers as they get older and they understand, I hope and I pray that that would encourage the kid once they hit around working age. They say, hey, you know what? I want to try work a little. I want to grow my money and I want to invest my money and I don't want to spend too much money on things. And if I do, it better be a good purchase. And I want to set up my kid, if I did have a kid, for financial security. I want my kid to have really good financial habits. I would want them to be a well-rounded human. I've said this before. Like if I had a kid, I would want my kid to be volunteering. I would want them to see, to I would want my kid to like understand how other people around them are and interact with them and realize that yeah, it's important to be mindful about budgeting. Sometimes, like when I was a kid, I had no concept about money. I really did not, because when you're like a little kid and you go to the supermarket, if you don't hear your parents talk about financials, you're just gonna say, "Oh, okay." They just take the item and then they put it in the shopping cart and then they buy it, right? You don't think about price comparison shopping. You don't think about couponing. You don't think about like what is the monthly budget and how are things going to be, let's say, moved around to make sure that whatever you want to buy fits within the budget. So for instance, right, some people, they're not good at budgeting. So if I had a kid, I would want to expose that kid to budgeting. I would say, okay, this is our grocery budget for the month. This is what I'm going to be doing. Okay, let's look at the sales ad. Let's do some food prep. Let's get the food saver out, that kind of thing. I would want my kid to be very, very down to earth. And I want my kid to have the, I want them to learn skills that I didn't learn in school. I still don't know, like if I had a kid, if I would want my kid to go to like public private school. I think private school overall is a huge ripoff. I mean, can you imagine it? Can you imagine like instead of like look right now, okay? So if you take your kid to a private school and then you, let's say, 1 year of kindergarten at some private schools in Hawaii is $20,000, right? So if you send your kid over to there and instead of putting your kid for that 1 year private school at $24,000, you say, okay, I'm going to put that money aside, invest it into the kid. Let's do a low rate, which I believe is 10%. Like, yeah, that $24,000 can turn into $133,000 in 18 years. You see, so I'm not really when I pull the numbers up, I'm not really seeing the point of spending $24,000 on a kid when it's so much smarter for me to hold on to that money for X amount of years and then give it back to the kid instead. But that's just my opinion. I know people. I know several people who went to the same private school as me. Their parents sacrificed so much. I mean, they were like scrimping and saving. And then at the end of it, it's like the kid doesn't have that great of a job at all. It like I said, private school does not ensure a kid is successful. And when you come to a certain point of your age, like nobody gives a crap what private school or public school you went to. They'd be like, oh, you went to, let's say, McKinley High School. Okay, cool. Like no one's gonna say, oh wow, I'm gonna really, hire this person because this person went to a private school in Hawaii. Not too much people, especially if it's like entry level job. I know people who they work, one person that I know who went to the same private school as me, they were working as like a delivery driver for Pizza Hut. And I'm just saying this because I think the parents invested money thinking that the kid would be successful. But again, it's not about the education. It's what a kid does with that education, what steps they move forward to getting a better job that really matter. So I would say don't fall for the private school trap. I know sometimes it looks really lucrative or it looks really tempting to spend maybe I know not too many people can afford $24,000 a year for their private school. I look at this, I'm like, this is insane. Who the hell will be spending $24,000 a year to send the kid to pre-K? But some people do it, and people with not a lot of money do it because they love their kids so much. I get it, I understand it, but the kid is much better off getting private tutoring, something like Sylvian Learning or even Kumon, which I didn't really like. I shared with you guys why I didn't like it, because it's like all they taught me was those freaking little worksheets, and when I had questions about let's say math problems in school, they couldn't help me with it because it's not part of their curriculum. So yeah, it's like they would only help me with stuff on the worksheet. So yeah, it's much better to get a private tutor and spend the money on like a private tutor a couple hours a week or a couple hours a month rather than spend $24,000 a year on a kid's private school education. Private school, in my opinion, is not going to get any cheaper. I'm sure, like if I had a kid when I was, let's say, 32 right now, let's say I had a kid in 4 years, I wouldn't be surprised if oh wait, even if I had a kid in 4 years, right? When I'm 36 years old, the kid won't be able to go to school until it's like six or seven. So private school education might be 31,000 by the time, if I had a kid, the kid gets into, like that's ridiculous. $31,000 for pre-K. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised in like 7 years or so, or whatever years that is. Tuition goes up to 31K for a private school. So yeah, instead of sending your kid to private school, if you're like a multi-millionaire or something, you can do it, I think, pretty comfortably. But I would say you're much better off throwing money aside for a kid and then just giving the kid that money at the end of it and say, hey kid, you know what, this should help you for your future. You don't have to touch it. You can work for a little bit and see what happens. So let's see here. So let's go back to my 10,000 over here. And then let's go 10,000. Let's do 20%. Okay. So 266,000. So let's just say 266,000, right? Let's say the kid has it for that. Let's say the rate of return continues to be, oh wait, hold on. No. I'm doing it wrong. Let's say $10,000. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, $10,000. We're gonna say the kid holds on to it for, so 18 when the kid is born, 28, let's say. All right, 18. How old would the kid be? Yeah, so that would be 30. Yeah, 30. Oh my God, I can't do math today. So let's say the kid holds on, like when the kid is born, I invest $10,000. The kid turns 30 years old. This is allegedly, according to this interest, yeah, the kid will be having $2.373 million when the kid turns 30 years old. And all the kid has to do is just live their life, hold, and that's crazy. So if my parents invested $10,000 when I was a kid, right, and held on to something, let's say, for a while, I don't know, like a bunch of stocks or something, and assuming it's like the good growth stocks, look at this. Like, gosh. Yeah, so I mean, like, it just grows higher and higher and higher, and again, you can look at it. See, it doesn't grow too much, but then it grows progressively, and then it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when the kid is in, when they have all this investment into this stuff, right? It's like 1% of $10,000 is 1% of $10,000 is $100, right? But 1% of, let's say, 3.4 million is $34,182. Yeah, it's like it just goes bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, I would recommend doing something like that. Yeah, seeing this kind of year-to-date return, seeing this kind of calculator. I know some people would say, Erica, that sounds really aggressive, but nothing changed. You just go for that rate to return, and then you just hold on to it. You just diamond hand it. You diamond hand it. So yeah, I hope that when I have a kid, or when I decide to have kids, then I can one day look back, tell my kid, yeah, kiddo, yeah, you have, this much amount of money, and that is going to be that is going to be the gift. And I hope you take care of it. I hope you don't squander it. But I think encouraging a kid to work early, encouraging a kid to stay humble and be money conscious, the kid is not going to squander it. The kid's going to see it as a money, as a little nest egg, and that's what really I want for a child. If I do have a child, I want my kid to realize that throughout their life, right? It's like I would tell them about this stuff, and like, hey, look, your little account went higher and higher and higher, and then maybe when they're 7 or so, right? Assuming it goes 20% a year. If they're 7, it goes up to 35K. I don't think a kid would understand 35K. When the kid is a teenager, 13, the kid's going to be at 106. And then I'm going to tell the kid, yeah, see, you remember when you were 7? Remember how like little it was over here? Like smaller? Yeah, go get a part-time job, and then you could throw more money into it. And then, yeah. It's like I would really encourage my kid to invest. But I would encourage them, like for something like you're holding a really long time, I would not want to do too much of a risky play. Or if I did, that's why I would kind of half it. So I would think about doing like ARKK and then half QQQ, not financial advice. And then I would monitor it, not like micromanage it, but just kind of see, what happens. And then if like ARKK doesn't do, I don't know what happens to ARKK. I'm pretty safe about QQQ when I think about it, because see, it's been around for like the past 15 years. But um, yeah, it's like I would kind of keep an eye on it, and then I would just say, hey, you know what? I'm not throwing any more money in. And then when the kid can work, let's say around 15 or so, the kid could, use their little income. 15-year-olds don't make too much money, most of them, right? The kid could use their little income and then throw it into the stock market on their own stocks, or alternatively, they can just like live within their means. And yeah, so financial, I think telling a kid early on about financials, and encouraging them to to realize the value of investing is super important. Super, super important. I cannot stress that enough, you guys. I cannot stress that enough, 100%. So, imagine like imagine if kids got this kind of financial advice, and they were told early on, hey, yeah, instead of buying all this like expensive stuff that you don't need, or wanting like, all to like douse yourself in luxury items, like Louis Vuitton or Chanel or something like that. The kid, you tell the kid, just invest your money wisely. Yeah, I think the kid would have better financial habits, in terms of how they see money. And again, it saddens me when I see people who get their money, and then instead of investing, they will say things like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to invest because I don't want to lose my money." And then they go out and buy some, stuff they don't need, some designer stuff they don't need at full price. And then, something could happen. And then it's not unusual for me to hear people say, oh, yeah, something happened. So I need to sell off my expensive designer stuff now because I need the cash. You guys, if you guys follow my community posts, you guys will see that as well. There was this one guy, I think he spent, what, $2,000 on some kind of fur coat. You remember the guy that looks kind of like a rapper or something? Like he had that rapper style coat, it kind of like a hoodie style, but it was made out of, I forgot what it was, like coyote, I think. I think he said he bought it for $2,000, but he was trying to resell it for 600 for fast cash. And I was thinking to myself, okay, so now you want to cash out on the designer stuff. Yeah, if you get any designer stuff, you're not gonna get a full market value, of course, right? I mean, like look at the guy's fur coat. He was trying to get $600. I don't know how many people would buy $600 uh, for that like wrapper style fur coat. And it wasn't even like a long fur coat. It was like a hoodie. It was like hoodie length, if I remember correctly. So something that you would see Drake wear in like Hotline Bling, but with like yeah, something like you would see Drake wear. Not Diddy, but just like that, and you spend it on stupid stuff instead of investing in. I mean, that guy would have been way better off investing in like Apple, QQQ, ARKK, taking his $2,000 and throwing it into a stock rather than a fur coat of that. That's like a fashion piece. But what that is indicative of society. It truly is. You see people who will chase after this image and secretly they will be not good financially or they have a lot of stress on them because they want to maintain the image. And I know several people like this. Again, it's not unusual to hear about people spending their paycheck trying to make it look like they are so wealthy or they got it so made together, and then at the end of the night they're all stressed out because they're projecting this image, but it's not financially stable. It's not. It's like you have all this designer stuff, but if you set this precedence up of having like the latest designer stuff, especially if you're on like social media or so, there's a pressure to have more designer stuff, right? Because I know some people, they're like those influencers, or they try to say like, oh, look at me, I got these new like Prada purse, or like Ferragamo shoes, or Manolo heels, and then they get a certain audience because some people, they like looking at this luxurious stuff, and yeah, they feel like their only content is luxury stuff. And not just it's like people like I see walking around, like I kind of wonder, like, why are you leading with your luxury items? For if anybody's walking around with a Louis Vuitton purse, in my opinion, they really should have some sort of investment. Like I don't want to see someone walking around with the Louis Vuitton purse and then having like no investments at all. I shared with you guys, it was this one person that I knew. She bought this like Louis Vuitton purse. She had money saved up for college, a semester of college, and instead of spending her money on her college education, she decided to buy an LV purse. And then she didn't have money for it, so she hit up her boyfriend. And then of course her boyfriend didn't give her any money, and then she told me about it, and I basically called her an idiot. And then she just stopped talking to me. Erica, you can't tell me what to do with my money. Okay, okay, okay. You want to be like that, go right ahead. But those kind of people, it's not smart. It looks good from the outside in, but yeah, it's not good to just surround yourself with like expensive things, and then at the end of the day you look at your bank account and your bank account is basically nothing because you spent all your stuff on stuff you don't need. Yeah. So I want you guys to just keep that. I just want you guys to just keep that in mind. And if you guys are spending your money on stuff that is draining your bank account, or you got your eye on this like luxury purchase, I know countless people. It's like they save their money to go on this to cash out for this expensive thing, and at the end of it, it's like their bank account is low again. I know a person who told me, they said, Erica, when I have a certain amount of money in my bank account, I feel uncomfortable. And I said, why? And they told me it's because they're not used to having so much money. So I think their threshold was about $3,000 or $4,000. So whenever they had about $3,000 to $4,000, they would always feel the itch to spend it all because they felt like they had so much money. And yeah, $3,000 to $4,000 in your bank account is really not that much money, you know, in case emergency happens. People need to rely on a emergency thing. And I'm a big fan of having some sort of emergency savings. You don't know what's going to happen. So let's say if you have a pet and your pet gets sick, you don't want to run your bank account too lean, because if your pet needs to get some sort of like emergency surgery, it's like you don't want to have that feeling like you saved up your money, bought some, I don't know, some designer stuff, and then now you don't have any money for your pet. But yeah, so it's just crazy, you know. It saddens me. And when I hear and I see people who get all this like expensive stuff, and then later on it comes biting them in the butt because they just couldn't financially afford it. I know some people have like conflicting thoughts about like Susie Orman. Some people say that she isn't like legit, or she isn't really a financial advisor. But I remember when I used to watch her on TV, one of the things I really stuck in my head was, you know, can you afford it? And um, yeah, it lasts with me, because when I see that kind of stuff, I think, yeah, that's important to take a step back, think, is this beneath, is this like above what you can comfortably afford? So, for instance, right, a Tesla. Some people would say, or let's say even like a Lucid car, right? $70,000. There might be some people who say, hey, you know, I make $30,000 a year and I got 6,000 in savings right now, but I want a Lucid. I want a Lucid car, because yeah, that's a spiffy looking car at 70K. So what they will do is that, you know, assuming they can meet the down payment requirements, they will just like I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. They will basically chain themselves to a car or a huge purchase for an extended period of time. Now, I'm not saying this about houses, okay? Like I'm not like houses, like I err on the side of renting for houses, but with the car, all a car does is it gets you from one place to another place. So when I hear about people spending what could be double their income, or significantly more than their yearly income on a car, and then not only that, right, an expensive car has expensive maintenance as well. The like Mercedes, for instance, I heard that they have like this kind of different kind of oil change, and if you go to a dealership, it costs like $300 to do, allegedly. So yeah, some people, they like having the pretty expensive car, but they can't afford it. And what use is having a very expensive car if you're just going to be basically eating instant noodles, or you know, stressing yourself out for the next 2-3 years over car payments? You see? Yeah. So I knew this other person that they bought a new car, and I asked them, I said, you know, why are you buying a new car? I knew how much money they were making. I didn't feel like they could afford it. But they said that they just wanted to have a new car. It's like they were driving a car that was okay, but they wanted to have that nice, spiffy looking car. So they buy the car, and surprise, surprise, maintenance costs for the cars, it gets up there. And then they don't take care of their car. Their car looks like absolute crap. And then there's this thing about depreciation. So if you have a brand new car, you hold it for 1 year, yeah, it might be like, oh yeah, you know, that's a 2020 model, okay? 2022, Kesha. Oh yeah, this is a 2-year-old car. 2023. Oh, did you know I bought this car new in 2020? 2024. Oh yeah, this is a 4-year-old car, but I bought this brand new. It doesn't have the same ring. You're never gonna get ahead of a car if you're trying to lead by how new the car is, because it just gets older and older and older. And yeah, so I know it's like a whole bunch of stuff that I'm saying over here, but I don't want anybody, and I shouldn't say this because I am, you know, invested into things like Apple, and I should say like buy more Apple products, spend your money on that kind of stuff. But I really hope that people are careful with their money, and I hope that you guys invest. You don't have to invest in you can invest in anything you want, but I would say invest in something that you believe in, and even just throw $20 in. Let's say you have $100. I know, $100, let's say it grows by 10% a year, which is a lot more than a freaking bank account, okay? Like, yeah, if you hold on to $100 for 18 years, then you would make $555. It's not that great of a gain. You can see the big difference over here. $100 versus $1,000 versus $10,000. See that? But it all adds up. It all adds up. And if anybody tells you don't invest in the stock market because you're gonna lose money, chances are, think about it, those people probably don't invest. Or if they did invest, maybe they're part of the GME bag holders. Just like me, I am a GME bag holder, but I only invested a very small amount of my portfolio. So I keep that as a reminder. Expensive mistake, but it's something that I know I can look back at and be like, oh, frick, I invested in GME. But who knows? Maybe GME will go back to $148 in 5 years. I doubt it, but if it goes up to $148, I'm going to say, yes, I've been holding the bag. I've been holding the bag. But yeah, please live within your means. I'm a big fan of living beneath your means. Do not be too spendy because you never know what might happen that might cause you to, some people, they have really cushy jobs and then their job for whatever reason, they get laid off or they, something happens, they can't work anymore. It's important to really have savings and don't go with the flow with people who say things like, uh, yeah, don't invest because if you invest, you're going to lose all your money, or don't invest because, yeah, you're not going to be rich. Because that's the kind of mindset I think a lot of I think that's what some people they like to say because they haven't gotten into the stock market. And if you only hear about things like the Dow dropped 600 points today and you hear it like one time, you might think like, oh crap, yeah, good thing I didn't invest because I could have lost money. But what people don't factor in is that, yeah, the Dow or the stock market might have a bad day or 2 days or 3 days, but it recovers. And I'm a big believer that the stock market will recover. uh, it, I really do believe the long term of it. It's like the stock market isn't going to be disappearing from the face of the planet anytime soon. There's just too much money invested in, like billions and billions and probably $1 trillion over here. So it's not just like the small fry who invest like $100. It's people who invest like hundreds of millions of dollars in investment firms as well. So that's why I have full faith in the stock market. So let me read this really quick. I know, anime. Lewis gives me fun. It makes fun of that. He says Q Q Q sounds like tears coming out or something. He thinks it's like some kind of like Japanese like emoticon sort of thing, like tears, tears, tears. But I'm like, no, I do actually like Q Q Q. I invested into Q Q Q for a short bit, and then I freaking sold it because like I have some money that I play around with, and then I invested into other things. And one of the things that I invested the money in was GME, and that was like not good for me. So yeah, I don't know too much about robo investors, but I have read that some people really like it. I heard there's also like Acorn, I think it's Acorn. I don't do that. But yeah. You know what, Suki? It's like, I think if you look at this kind of investment calculator, and of course, all the links to this stuff is in below. So yeah, the year to date is ytdreturn.com, the investment calculator. Just, just play around with it and say, okay, well, let me see. Instead of investing $1,000 in a handbag, let me see what happens if I hold on to it for 10 years, and let's say it goes 15% a year. Okay, so my $1,000 growth grows into $4,000, and it's nice. It's nice to like see things go up, because it's not like, oh, look at this, buy used bags. I have an ad right here. So funny. So yeah, if I spent $1,000 on this handbag, that's money I will not get back, because if I try to resell this handbag, there's no way I'm gonna get $1,000 for it unless it's some kind of limited edition stuff. You guys can look up Louis Vuitton handbags. It's like, yeah, the price is kind of constant, but you would you have to worry about the condition. You also have to worry about some people thinking your bag is fake. You hope you don't buy a fake bag yourself. So, spending $1,000 on a luxury handbag, unless you use it yourself or you see yourself using it for a long time, it's kind of like money out the window. So, in my opinion, it's so much better to just put the $1,000 in sort of some sort of investment, and then just let the one handbag turn into four handbags, and who knows, maybe in like 10 years or maybe even, let's see, 5 years might not double yet. Actually, no, 5 years. In 5 years, you could buy yourself a free handbag. There. But yeah, so I'm planning to hold on to my investment portfolio for a really long time. And I think it's going to work out. I know people, like I said, who have invested for 20 years, 30 years, and they don't have to worry about money. They haven't gotten cocky at all, but if anything, they're just very down to earth, and they realize that the work that they put in over the years to like slowly grow their portfolio. You guys know I'm a big fan of averaging up. So for instance, if you have $1,000 that you want to throw into an investment, instead of throwing all the $1,000 in today, you can put in like $100 at a time or $200 at a time. So this month you put in 200, next month you put in 200, over the next 5 months. And that way, if it goes down, you average down, or if it goes up, you average up. Or if the stock crashes, right, and you feel safe with it, let's say if Apple crashes 15%, all right, when you look at it, you're like, oh crap, yeah, I put in like $400, but I have $600 left. Yeah, let me put the $600 into Apple. And Apple's a really bad example because I think, actually, wait, Apple's price is 135 or so. Yeah, so Apple's not a bad example, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you just slowly transition into it. So yeah, if you did like you just like let your money just work for you, and you don't have to really do anything. All you have to do is kind of check on it. But even the people that I know have long time stock portfolios, they have such faith in their portfolios, you guys. They check it like once a year. I check my portfolio about 5 times a day, or more. And I just kind of look at it because I'm kind of antsy about like CCIV, as you guys know. So GME, that was so stressful. I was doing streams just looking at GME. I don't ever want to repeat that ever again. So yeah, just really think about it. I'm not gonna send you any links about signing up for here and there, but I want you guys to really think about investing and thinking about just taking advantage of having time on your side, because we're just all getting older, right? And 10 years is going to go by in a snap. So if you invested 100,000 10 years ago, your $100,000 will turn into $404,000. And if you let it sit for like 15 years, like that's retirement money right there. Just having that $100,000. In my opinion. And yeah, so my belief also, and I don't want to stray off too far, is I think instead of buying a house, it's so much better just to rent. And I say that because if you rent, you don't have to put a large chunk of your income into a house. You got to be responsible for repairs and things like that. I mean, like I look at the money, right? Like, instead of putting all that money into a house, like some houses are like $800,000 or so, you might as well just let it sit, and then 20 years comes by. It's like, you see, your money grows faster than whatever your rent payment is. Especially if some of you guys live in a cheaper area. You guys don't live in New York, so yeah. So see, like, if you just let it grow. See that 15,000, you let it grow over here 2 years. That is 32,000. Okay, you get what I'm saying. What, 3 years? Was that it? It grows. How much does it grow? Hold up. Wait a second. Let me do 20. Okay, here we go. See, so your interest grows too. So you invest 1 year, your interest is 15,000, 2 years 17,000, 3 years 19,000. It's just because you have more money. You're getting more money to. So when you have that 20% growth, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then after 10 years, right? It's like it just grows bigger. So some people, they live in a place where the rent is maybe only $12,000 a year or something like that. It's like, yeah, I feel like you're much better just having the interest pay for it rather than going out into your big amount here. That's where I'm trying to get at, because it's like at some point, if you're at, let's say, year 13, it's like you have $80,000 in interest. If rent is only $12,000 a year, even $15,000 a year, you still have, let's say, 50, no, 60, 65,000 or something extra. And 65,000 is like some people's yearly salary or 2 years salary, right? And you just have to hold on. You just hold on and let time do the wonderful thing. And um, if you guys invest, and and you have a rate of return like 15% a year, keep in mind, it's like, okay, for me, right? Let's say if I had $100,000 to invest into a stock that went up 15,000 a year. So by the time I am 62, okay, this is pretty aggressive here, okay? But let's just say by the time I'm 60 years, let's say it keeps going up 15%, like that. Yeah, this is. See, it's like I don't know anybody who invested like something like this to really say, but according to this calculator, it's like it just goes up 15% a year, right? So let's see. Yeah. 15% of this is 115% of this is like, yeah. Yeah. So it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I just focus on this part over here. And I'm very curious to see what happens, like just looking at like this kind of amount. Like I just wonder what happens. Like what if I hold on to my portfolio for my own portfolio for, let's say, okay, well, like 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I don't know. I hope I live a long time, but whatever happens to me, right? If I had a kid, my kid would also inherit my stock portfolio as well. So that is my thinking about it, and that is my setup for what I'm planning to do for my life. And I want my kid to have a really good, I want my kid to have money through investments. So they get off when they're 18 to a good foot. And if anything happens to me, I want to have a portfolio that grows so that way the kid can inherit my portfolio and then have, you know, be comfortable. And I really hope that I raise a kid or kids. I don't know if I'll have more than one kid, but I really hope that I raise the kid to not squander money, because I hear about sometimes you have kids who have, who feel like they get cocky. Let's say if a kid has $123,000, they think like they can spend, spend, spend. But this thing took 18 years to develop, to grow. Assuming this actually comes out right, right? And I wouldn't want the kid to just blow out 30,000 in 1 year just because the kid's buying stupid stuff. So yeah, something to think about. And if you guys have any kids, I recommend, doing the same thing, throwing $100 for a kid if you can, and have your kid be on this journey too. And then tell the kid, hey, every year, hey, so remember on your birthday, remember on your like 5th birthday, I gave you $100 on invested it. Look, it's your 6th birthday, and look, you made $15. And then every year, the kid can look at this thing and say, like, "Oh, I'm gaining money, and I didn't have to do anything." And it's like a small amount of money, but maybe like for some parents, if they give their kid like birthday money or Christmas money, or just combine it both, because I know kids' toys can be pretty freaking expensive, right? Just say for every birthday and for every Christmas, I'll give you $50, and then let's see. Yeah, every birthday and every Christmas, you'll get $50, so $100 a year. And then when they turn, they'll start seeing the money grow. And then maybe when they turn like 13 or something, the kid's like, how much money did you put in? Oh, I put in 500. No, I put in, What is the initial amount? Yeah, you know, they say like, oh, I put in like if the kid is 15, oh, I put in 1,500, but look, the 1,500 grew to 5,000 5,571. So this is a really good way to just kind of bond with your kid, and then make have the kid this way sees the value of time for money. And yeah, I you know what? I might think about doing that. Yeah, I might think about doing that. Okay, so if I had a kid, let's see, if I had a kid and I had $10,000 when they were born, and then every year they got $100 in their account. Wait, is that right? 18 years, $10,000. Wait a second. Am I doing that right? How's that right? Wait a second. What am I doing wrong? Additional contribution at the end. Wait a second. End balance is 131. Am I missing something? Okay, no. I must be wrong. Yeah, so if I don't contribute anything, they get $123. $123,000. But if I contribute $100 at the end of every year, it goes up to $131,000. Yeah. 10,000, 18 years, 15%. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is 15%. That's why the number throws me. So yeah, you know, it turns into a nice little nest egg for the kid, and $10,000 in initial investment with a 1,800 contribution over the next 18 years. The kid walks away with possibly 131,000 in the event the rate to return is 15%. If it's 20%, it'll be higher. We will see, but yeah, good math lesson. I don't know, you know, like I look at things like QQQ, and maybe it's just like I see this and I'm like, so like aggressive stock, right? Aggressive stock is, so like this one, QQQ, from 2012 to 2021, you're looking at about 22%. ARKK, from the start, it started 2014 to 2021, you're looking at 39%. You see where I'm getting at? Hold on, yeah, I gotta delete this. So yeah, if it starts showing you this thing, just click on close window. So let me see, QQQ. So let's do, so they first started in 1995, right? Yeah, so that's why, hold on. Lewis is calling me, but I'm gonna get off the phone in a bit. But that's what I'm trying to get at, you guys. Like, yeah, so when I see this, right? Okay, wait a second. Annual rate of return from 1999 is like 9%. Okay, so I was looking at only from like 2012. But if you have like 9% over here, I should say 9%, right? And then you put in $10,000 and then additional contribution 1,800. No, $100 a year. Yeah, see? So it does grow slightly, not as aggressively as the other ones, like if you have a higher percentage. But yeah, so my plan is like if I had a kid, I would do half QQQ and I would do half ARKK, just because I would have like one, like I don't know how this is going to be long term, but I feel comfortable just kind of splitting it. So this one, if this one's really aggressive and this one's not, I'm okay with having it in the middle between there. That's just me though. That is just me. So yeah, I really feel safe with ARKK and I feel safe with QQQ. So I will talk to you guys later. Lewis is giving me a call, so yeah. I know. I will talk to you guys. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a call back. I'm streaming right now. Okay. And oh, let me know in the comment section what you. Oh, he drove a truck and almost hit a mail truck, but I evaded the mail truck. Okay, never mind. I guess he doesn't need me to. He doesn't need. Yeah. It's snowing right now, so I was okay. So he's taking his driving lessons right now, And I was telling him, I said, you know, I really don't think it's good to have a driving lesson today because it's freaking snow. Like, if you're learning how to drive, you want to see like the markings on the road very clearly. You don't want snow going on you. But yeah, it seems like he evaded a driving truck. You know, if you wanna, if 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 you wanna get better at driving, just keep practicing, and who knows, maybe you could buy a Tesla one day. Maybe you could buy a Tesla or a Lucid or whatever has autonomous driving. I know Tesla has it, and then that way you don't have to worry about hitting the mail truck. But if the Tesla hits the mail truck, then you're kind of screwed. Just putting it out there. But good, you didn't hit the mail truck. Yeah, just know, and also when you drive a car, make sure you keep your eyes on the road, both hands on the wheel. Make sure you don't go over the speed limit. I drive like a grandma, in case you guys don't know how I drive. I'm very cautious. I'm very, very cautious. So, but I don't mind being cautious because I'd rather be cautious and not than just speed and do stupid stuff. So that was it. I hope you guys got something out of my video today. I really feel very strongly about this kind of stuff. You guys know I'm always talking about investing, or you know, how I'm looking up stocks, and I wanted to share this with you guys because I really believe in sharing knowledge. And you know, maybe you guys won't invest in the same stuff I do, and of course this is not financial advice, but I really feel like you guys should invest in something. I mean, like, hell, it's like there's some stocks that are kind of not the greatest return. So let me look at this. Damn it. There's some stocks that's not the greatest return. Some people, they think Disney is a really good stock. I'm not a big fan of Disney. So let's see here. So let's say I invested back in 2012, right? Oh, crap. Like, yeah, if I held on, it would gain like about 19% on average. Wait, 19, 20% on average. But let's see. Actually, if I invested in Disney, what would that have been? Oh, wow, look at that. Annual return, Disney from 1995 is 10% or so, right? It's like, I don't know. I'm just like, I mean, Disney's pretty big, but it's just kind of, yeah, it's just like, I kind of wonder, like, how much are they gonna grow? As terrible as that sounds, it's like, I look at Disney, I'm like, it grows, but not nearly as ambitious as like a tech company, I think. Let's see. Yeah, see, so Apple, instead of Disney, Apple grows about 26% a year. How long this will last, I don't know. But can you imagine if you, I mean, like, I know very few people had the foresight to invest 10,000 in Apple back in 1995. But if anybody invested $10,000 into Apple in 1995, they would end up with $4 million today. So when you see people talk about the whole, you know, if you had spent $10,000 on Amazon back in like 1995, you would be a multi-millionaire. Yeah, it's just I really believe in investing in strong companies and then letting those companies work for you. If you do the research and you just kind of monitor, it should be good. So that's the beauty about investing. It's like if you have a sizable amount of money thrown into your portfolio and you do your work, or just kind of monitor situations, then you should be okay. ARKK it's been around since 2014. I'll show you guys the holdings really quickly. So it has Tesla as the 9.45%. A lot of this I feel very strongly about. I think it's really good. I think they also have JD in here somewhere. Or maybe it wasn't here. Maybe it was the other one. Do they have JD over here? Maybe no. Maybe it wasn't this one. I think they had JD in one of their holdings. But they have... Yeah, so they have like Tesla, Roku, Square, Zillow, Baidu, Shopify, Zoom, PayPal. I'm not DocuSign. Oh, this is the one that you guys were telling me about, right? TSM. You guys told me to invest in that. And I said, what? I don't want to invest in it. So ARKK actually has TSM in here. And yeah, I like it. You know, I like this a lot. And I feel comfortable with ARKK. I think it's a good managed one, but I don't know what's going to happen in the future. So a lot of people made a good amount of money off ARKK, and I have a lot of reassurance about this kind of stuff because in the event that Tesla falls, the stock itself won't go down that much. I'm hoping it's only 9.45% of the portfolio versus if you went 100% in Tesla, right? You'd be putting yourself more at risk. I know there are some Tesla fanboys out there who say stuff like, "Oh, if you want to invest, just go all in on Tesla because Tesla's gains." And um, hard to say. You know, it's hard to say. I think they are growing, but they are very. You know, it's getting higher and higher and higher, and I see so much competitor coming out like Neo, Lucid. I just kind of wonder about that. Yeah, so just like treat yourself, you know. Next time you want to do some uh if you guys like ever save money for some like luxury purchase or a cruise or something like that and you know you save all your money for that, I would highly suggest just put some of that money into investing. And it doesn't have to be ARKK, it doesn't have to be QQQ, it could be anything you want it to be, but just make sure when you look at the when you look at like the year to date return and you look at the charts and stuff, you feel comfortable investing in it and holding for possible 18 years or 20 years. I'm not planning to let go of my portfolio ideally until the day I die, sort of thing. So yeah, my portfolio, I'm happy about it. I will share this. My portfolio in the last 3 years, my whole entire portfolio in the last 3 years, let's see, has gone up about 60%. So uh, it's gone up, and I'm happy about that. And that's why you see me kind of stress out a little when, or you see me kind of peeved off when like Amazon isn't going up or JD isn't going up. It's because I want to have that momentum, so it just grows bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I hope that whatever I'm investing in, I hope that the long-term view of it is good. Now, Amazon, I'm not worried about that because I don't think they have any competitor. But gonna be honest over here, like JD, I'm just a little worried because I kind of see, I kind of see how this I how do I say this? I kind of see like how the stocks are, and I worry a little about Chinese stocks. Let me look at Baba because I've never looked at this. So Baba, if I invest in Baba, is that right? This is Alibaba? No, this can't be right. Average annual return for Alibaba is 72% a year? What? Okay, so it's been around for 8 years. Okay. So yeah. Is that right? Is that seriously right? Hold on. How's that? Total return is that something? Oh, oh, oh. Okay, so it started in 2012 at $2.38. Okay, so if I bought Alibaba back in 2012, which I wouldn't do, that would have definitely not gone on my radar. But let's just say instead of let's just do 2017. Okay, so Baba's been going up 30% a year. See that? Average. Dang. And I sold Baba, if you guys remember that. I don't know. I'm just kind of worried about Chinese stocks. That's why I sold it. I was like, frick, too much stress. Let's see here. So JD, on the other hand, their average return is 25%. See that? See, that's 25% versus if you look at Amazon, AMZN, their average return is, we'll just go back here. Their average return is 37% a year. Yeah, look at this chart. Look how crazy that looks like. So yeah, if you invested back in 2017 for Amazon, it would have gone up about 44% a year. So yeah, yeah, something to think about. I think Amazon's just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. But how big will Amazon get in 20 years? I don't know. But I like Amazon because it's been around since a long time. When was Amazon first out? This stupid tab. Let me see. Amazon has been around since 96, it seems, right? Stock came out? I don't know. Okay, so it came out on 97. And yeah, it's like I feel pretty comfortable with it. And like, how many years is that? 97, 2021 minus 1997. That's 24 years. So yeah, if they've been around for 24 years, I feel pretty damn confident they're going to be around for 20 years. And let's see. If someone invested in, oh, actually, you know, I can do the chart here. If someone invested $10,000 in 2027, their 2000 would have been worth $44,000. Jeez. Yeah. So that is the importance of investing early, or investing. I know someone who actually invested into Amazon when it was 2002, and this is someone that I went to high school with. So I think she bought 20 shares of Amazon when it was at $200, and I was stupid because her parents were involved in investments. And I remember she told me about investing in Amazon and Google at that time. And it was, like I said, I think Amazon was $200 at the time. And I remember I thought to myself, like, why are you spending money into investing in these stocks? Like, stocks are just like I didn't hear anything much about stocks during that time. So when I heard about $200 a share, I thought, man, that's really expensive. Like, what if it goes down? And now, $200 a share for Amazon, it's like $3,200. So she has made absolute bank on it. I won't be surprised, depending on how much she invested, if she kind of is like semi-retired or retired. I don't know how much Google and how much Amazon she bought over the years, but it's really something. So good on her parents for teaching her that and guiding her on that early on. And yeah, she didn't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's see. So look at this. If you had invested $10,000 in Amazon in 2002, you would have ended up with $3 million. And that's around the time that she invested in Amazon. So she might have definitely, put her money into buying more, and she could be a millionaire for all I know. But damn, can you imagine that? Imagine throwing $10,000 into Amazon. So, and I know there's a bunch of people who did, around 2002. But it wasn't me. And gosh, that growth. Yeah, so we will see what happens to my little stock portfolio over the next couple years. I have a lot of faith my portfolio would be good, and depending on how it turns out, I really hope that I know it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow, But the question is that how much does it grow, right? And I think sometimes I get kind of like agitated when I look at my portfolio because it's like I see the gains, but it's like when I look at other stocks, like let's say, you know, like the GME thing, or you see like a stock shoot up 10% or so, that is kind of intoxicating because you want to just chase those gains. But if you just hold, I kind of feel like you don't have to really do anything. If you just believe in the stock and you kind of monitor it, um, you just, you know, it will grow. And when it grows, yeah, that could be a good chunk of money. So JD was very eye-opening to me. This is the first time I looked at to JD, and yeah, yeah, it's hovering around this whole freaking $88, $89 thing. And if I was holding on to it for 6 years and it only grew, okay, this is kind of screwed up because when I look at the JD chart, actually, it didn't really move much. So yeah, it didn't really move much. Like, it was kind of hovering around here. You can see back in 2016, right? So it was kind of like around this for a long time, and then it broke out a little. And then this is where I invested around, I think it was 47 or so. I bought at the fucking top. And then it went down. Look at that. Go. And then it went up. And now I'm just kind of peeved because I want it to go back over to the hundreds. And yeah, I think I'm just going to give it time. I think I'm going to continue holding over here. They're doing this whole thing about, where is this? They did something about they can buy stuff for like groceries or something. If you own JD, should you sell it now? Let's see what people say. In 2020, we published an article that JD.com was one of the 10 best Chinese stocks to buy. Blah, blah, blah. You could have doubled the size of your nest egg by investing in the top hedge fund stocks instead of the dumb S&P 500 ETFs. Yeah. Yeah. I'm always going to be pro-tech, you guys. I'm always going to be very pro-tech. So JD, they have like, let's see. Yeah, so their competitor was Alibaba, and I just got shaken out big time with Alibaba. I got scared about Alibaba. That's what it came down to. So, yeah. And then now, let me check Baba's chart. This is just me talking about stuff. See? So it was like 306 over here. And then you can kind of see it just went downhill. And I sold around 222. I sold at the freaking bottom, you guys. Dumb me. It's like I didn't realize that was the bottom either. I was kind of worried because I was only at an 11% profit. So I was holding on to it for quite some time. And you can kind of see why I sold, right? It's like I see this, and then I see it's matching over here. See July? That's why I sold, because I was thinking to myself, like, where's Jack Ma? So it was just too stressful for me, and then I sold, and now it's probably gonna go back up to 309, but I don't want to have Alibaba in my portfolio. I rather just keep JD over there. Who knows? Maybe I'll bite my words, and maybe it'll, you know, blow up in my face. But I have more of a cushion for JD right now. So let's see. Yeah. So JD's chart, in my opinion, looks pretty good. They got earnings coming out in March something. March 1st. Is that right? March 1st? NASDAQ. There's no dividends. Okay, so March 1st. So I'm gonna be checking out frickin' JD because you guys know I was so pissed off about the Amazon earnings. And earnings. The next one. Next. April? Who knows? Yeah, April. So, yeah, I'm just waiting for Amazon stock to go up. I feel like I got kind of in late because all the freaking Amazon stock is just like sideways right now. But it kind of went sideways for a long time, actually, now that I look at it. Yeah? Over here. And then it shot up. So, it just slowly goes up. So look at this, you guys. So 2016, right? 507 goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up. And then it just does this nice upwards. It keeps going up. 2018 it goes down. And I bought around here. I think 1,448 is my average. And then it went up, and then now it's just kind of sideways again. So yeah, there's no real downside about timing the market if you just average and then if you just hold on. So I hope I'm gonna look back at my Amazon stock and then I'll see it go sideways, and then maybe it'll go up to 4,000 or 5,000, or maybe even better, they'll do a split. But Amazon's not going anywhere. So look at this. They have Amazon has, look at all their subsidiaries, you guys. Isn't this crazy? Look how big Amazon is. Audible, Zappos. Oh, I didn't know. Books, Amazon Fresh, Whole Foods, Shopbop, Book Depository, Wood. Oh, I didn't know that. Ring, Zoox, Blink, CrateSpace. We're still looking at Amazon Web Services. This is huge. IMDb. Well, I didn't know that was owned by Amazon. Amazon Pharmacy, I knew about. All of these. Diapers.com. Amazon Air, Amazon Publishing. Like, look how big this company is, you guys. It's like everything. It's like they freaking, it's like they own so much. This is so big. It is so big. You know what? I would not buy into Amazon if you're not okay with holding your breath, because like I believe in the longevity of it, but if you look at the price here, not financial advice, just me ranting. If you look at the price here, you can see in the last 6 months, we're looking at August 10, 2020. You can see it hasn't moved much at all, right? You can see 3,148, 3,368. Right now it's 3,311. 3,368 goes down, and then it goes up, and then it goes down, and then it goes up, and then, see? November, what was it? November 6th. We're on the same price as November 6th. So it's just been going the sideways action. And their earnings beat it out of the ballpark, but the price didn't go up. So Amazon, I feel like if you hold it and you don't have a good cushion on it, it's going to piss you off. I mean, it kind of already peeps me off looking at it, because I feel like my portfolio would be bigger if I just sold it and invested in something else. But I don't want to let go of Amazon, because I feel like if I let go of Amazon and I invest it into something else and Amazon shoots up, right, I'm going to say, frick, if I want to buy back into Amazon, I'm going to screw up my average. My average is, I think, 1,448 per share. So I'm just going to hold Amazon, and I'm not too worried about it, because you can look at the thing, even though it's been going sideways. Let's see. So I bought in, let's just say June. I don't know, June 2018 or something like that. Close window. So you can see, like, the average rate per year is 30%, and that's not too bad. Like, that's pretty good. Like, my sideways action, it's really not too bad about that. So, yeah, just waiting for this thing to keep going up and up and up 30% every year. I think that Amazon is gonna go up, of course. I don't see it only gaining like 1% this year. I really don't. But it's like this kind of waiting game That's why it makes something like this look kind of excruciating. You see, because it's like you're waiting for it to go up, and it does go up. It's just you might see some sideways action, or the growth might not be as attractive as, let's say, investing into something like GME, or one of these meme stocks where they can pump up 20% in one day. Yeah, so it's hitting the upper limit, but I do think it's gonna grow. I think that I don't think it's gonna stay at the. I think it is gonna break out of the 4,000 mark. It's just when is it gonna break out? I don't know. Right now we're in February right now. I don't. I really do believe it's gonna grow this year. Just don't know when, and I don't know how much. I think they say the price target right now is $4,000. Yeah, see, so according to this one, they say 4,000 shares right around the corner. And if it does go up to 4,000, I will be happy. I'll be like, great, not $3,316, $313 anymore. So, yeah. If it goes up to 3,500 or 3,600, I'm like, yes, yes. 3,443 and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down. Yeah. So we will see what happens. I also have faith into, I think what really screwed up Amazon's earning is Jeff Bezos said he was going to step down later this year. And because he's stepping down, a lot of people get pissed off about it. They're like, frick, we had record earnings. Why are you overshadowing it with you stepping down? Like, I wish he had mentioned that, like, next earnings or something. Not this earnings. So, just kind of stresses me out a little. But thankfully, although Amazon and JD are kind of rocks right now, Amazon and JD, you guys can look at the chart. JD, I always call it just down because it kind of hovers around, say, 88 to like 92 a lot. And Amazon is doing this frickin' sideways action too, but I have a lot of hope for it long term, and I hope in the future my investments pay off, and I can say that yeah, it's one of those waiting games, and I basically don't have to do anything with my portfolio. If I really wanted to, I could just hold and wait it out, but yeah, I'm curious. And then CCIV, I got that on the back of my mind too, because I'm just waiting for any merger to come out. And I think the stock price went down 3% today, which is fine for me, but it's just, 6%. Damn it. So it went down 6% today. I was thinking to myself, like, man, I wonder if I should sell 35 and then buy back in later on, and I didn't. And what is this cracker? What is this? 1 hour ago? Yeah, so some people are seeing this as a buying opportunity, and for me, I'm like, I have my average for CCIV on my my Robinhood account is like 1948, so I have quite a bit of cushion. But I made a lot of purchases, I think around the $29 mark in my TD Ameritrade account. So let's see, stock twits. This is stuff that I do pretty damn often. People are gonna say, oh, they had people in stop losses, that's why. So people are like, I read this really funny quote today. People were saying things like, they call people who paper hand it the stock, they call them Paper Mario, and I just laugh so much I was like, yeah, there something like some people can be shaken out so quickly. They're paper. They should be called paper Mario. Something like that. I was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. So you got some people who are seeing this dip at 7%, and they're like, bye 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 bye, you know. And then other people are like trolling and yeah. See, added 250 more shares. So 250 times 32 is, I forgot how much that is. So yeah, we'll see what happens to this. You got more people holding than you got more people selling. See, paper hands with that shake and bake. Got more calls. Call me weak hands for somebody bought the dip. Everybody making money SPY at all-time high, and this is going downhill. Too much speculation. Yeah. So my belief is the Lucid deal is gonna go through, but I could be wrong. And until this confirmation does happen, again, you'll see people. I think it was 35, 36 on Friday, and then when people are just like, okay, we're just gonna take these profits, and then you got some people who say they don't want to buy into CCIV until after the merger happens. So I just chose to hold. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna diamond hand this thing because I do believe it's gonna happen. I just don't know when. And really, it should be today. It should be tomorrow. It should be as soon as possible. Just being honest here. But it doesn't seem like it. Let's see over here. Let's look at TradingView because I love looking at TradingView. TradingView.com is my favorite place to look at charts. Minus Robinhood because I don't know. It's okay. BlackBerry over there. You see BlackBerry? She's 1343 right now. So let's look at this full feature chart. Night vision. Night dark mode is my jam. Okay, let's see here. So 5 days. So I bought in around here, and then it went up, and then it went down. And if I had to just, seems like it's gonna. I hope it stays up here or it stays around 30. Yeah, I hope it stays around 30. I don't think it's gonna last too long around. Go lower than 29. I think people are keeping the faith. Yeah. One day. But yeah, it has been going down. Look, there was a dip around here. What was the dip? Oh, the dip was what, 31? Wow, look at that. The dip was only 31, then it shot back up. So seems like people are keeping the faith and they're holding on to their CCIV, which makes me very happy about this. So I'm going to hold on to CCV. I don't have too much profit on my TD Ameritrade account because I bought in at 29 or so, and it's kind of slim. The 30, 35 all the way to 32. It's like 10% drop, right? Feels like it, yeah, 35. That's like a 10% drop or so. Yeah, but if this merger does go through, I expect it to shoot up, and I will be very, very, very happy. And yeah, but I don't know when I would sell CCIV. Yeah, I don't think so Sereno got in Serena, he's stepping down as CEO, but he's still going to be actively involved in Amazon. He's going to be something else, but it's not CEO. And I think he said he wanted to focus on other ventures instead. Yeah, like the spaceship stuff. Scooby is right. Yeah. So if you believe in CCIV, and this is not stock advice, right? This is what I learned from the GME play, right? You see it go down like from their top down to 32 or so, right? 10% down. If you believe that this is gonna happen, you would say like, okay, well, it's gonna go up to 35, and then I make a quick 10% or so. But the the scary thing, I'm just being honest here about this, is that we don't know how long this will last, right? Maybe this is drawn out for the week, maybe it's like 2 weeks, maybe and it's very possible the longer it takes until this merger comes through, it's just going to start slowly going back down. So so you can see if you look at the 1 month chart over here. Dang it. 3 months. Okay. If you look at the 1 month chart over here, I don't know, my chart looks so crappy here. You can see that it was, why does my chart look so freaking terrible? Okay. Stupid chart. Okay, so you can see that it kind of just shot, and then it shot, and then it went down because, oh, there was a stupid rumor too. Some stupid rumor around there that someone said like, oh yeah, the Lucid deal isn't going through with DirecTV, and it was just some guy on Twitter, and then it spiked up after the Forbes article. So the CEO is on the cover of the current cover of Forbes right now. He also did an interview with MSNBC, I believe, or CNBC. You can see it in my previous post. So then it spiked up, and then yeah, is it just gonna go like this? You see how it goes like up, down, up, down, up, but overall it goes higher. So will this go higher? I don't know. But if the merger takes longer, I expect it to go a little bit more down. But then if they hear closer news, it goes back up. So speculative. My bets is going to go through. And if it does go through, I expect it to hit like 45 or so. And from there, do I hold? Do I not hold? Toughie. I'm tempted to hold because I kind of want to wait it out. Oh, see, it's going down. It's going down. I want to say it's going down. It's yelling timber. This kind of stuff you can see, like you can have these swings, and yeah, it's exciting to see it go up 5%, but this is all stress if you have a lot of money that you're putting into this. And something like CCIV, I wasn't willing to gamble about that. I was like, okay, Erica, let's see how this goes. So yeah, don't go with these speculative plays unless you're comfortable with the stock possibly going down 50%. And I only say that because this whole price is contingent on that merger, right? So if the merger doesn't go through, again, it's just going to go down. So someone says paper hands always drop on Monday, 38 to 40 into Friday. Some people are buying $50 calls. See that? March 19. Can you imagine on March 19th if it goes up to $50? That's like 30% up. Yeah, if it goes up 30% up, I'll be happy. It pays for my GME messes up. Yeah, I didn't invest too much in CCIV. And then, yeah. My goodness, I never thought I'd get more shares. So this has a lot of interest in here. Bought the diff and average up to 19. Yeah, so I was slowly averaging up on CCIV, and then it shot up, and I was like, frick it. So I don't want to touch anymore on CCIV. So yeah, let's see here. Now, ideal investment strategy, in my opinion, would just be going with the pretty safe stock. It would be going through a stock that you don't have to worry too much about. I mean, nobody's worried really much about SPY or QQQ. If a holding has like a lot of stocks, like ARKK has 55, you don't have to stress out about this unless you're banking all 55 companies are going down. And when I hear people talk about like, oh, well, what if the whole stock market crashes and, I lose my money? I tell them, you're not going to lose your money unless you sell out, right? Because there's always a chance it's going to bounce back up. So, yeah, you don't actually have losses until you sell something. And something like all these companies, I have a lot of faith in it. Look, they even have Nintendo over here. Why did I think JD was on here? Or was it ARK? Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm imagining it wrong. Maybe it was it ARKW that had this? Let's see. Okay, here we go. ARKW, the other one that I'm invested in. This one has Tesla again. And then it has Zoom, Baidu, JD. Baba was somewhere. I don't know where Baba is. I lost it. Alibaba. See? So Alibaba's over here at only 1.20%. So this is a very well diversified holding, and JD is at 1.03%. No, 1.01%. But at least it's something. At least it's something. Yeah, so something like this, you don't really have to worry much about this. So ARKW, let's look at the financial stuff over here. Remember this one, this website, ARKW. Let's see here. You invested in 2014, so that's when this started up. See, your average return rate is 44% every year. So this is aggressive. ARKW, ARKK is pretty freaking aggressive. It seems actually more tempting than my JD, but yeah, I'm already invested in ARKK and ARKW. So moving forward, I'm only planning to throw it in ARKK, ARKW, or QQQ. I don't really want to play around with too much of the stocks anymore. You know, like this whole monitoring stocks and the whole BlackBerry thing, and feeling like I have FOMO and fear of missing out. It's not mentally healthy for me. And yeah. So go long, see where this thing goes, and of course, well, I've said it 300 times, but this is not financial advice. This is just me looking at charts and wondering how this is going to be. You know, I kind of wonder, like, if CCIV does not do well, and then I ended up losing money because of it, I guarantee you I'm going to say, frick, I should have just stayed with my ARKK and ARKW instead, because those companies don't do swings, like 6% swings at all. And it's pretty consistent. So, yeah, this is something, but we will see. Yeah, you don't have to worry about timing it because but I did hear there's this one investment firm. I think it was in Germany, but I could be remembering it wrong. 15% of their portfolios in Churchill. And then there's also some SPAC ETF of sorts. I forgot what the name of it was, but one of their biggest holding is Churchill as well. I think it was 15%. So I was thinking, like, what the hell is so attractive about Churchill? Is there something that I don't know that they know that makes them want to put 15% of their thing on Churchill? Who knows? Who knows? So I just got to monitor it, this thing. So again, my cost average over here, I think it's 29.30ish around here. And then I for my TD Ameritrade account, and then my other one is at 19. No, yeah, 19. So I have a good amount of cushion. But part of me thinks, like, Erica, you could always cash out and take your gains and throw it into ARKK or ARKW, but fear of missing out, right? I'm like, what if it actually happens and then I sell it early on? Oh, look, it's going back up. What if I sell it early on, and then after I sell it, they say, like, oh yeah, the merger happened. And I'd just be like kicking myself. I'd be like, damn it, I should have diamond handed it. I knew I should have held it. It's like you win and you lose. So the best way to play this kind of stuff is don't even participate, in my opinion. It's like, just go in the longs. Just go in the longs. Turn off your computer. Just kind of monitor your stocks and just say, like, screw it. I trust in my longs. Because anxiety on these kind of things, seeing the chart like this, it's really real. Yeah. So anyway, I gotta go eat lunch, and I will talk to you guys later. But again, Lewis always makes fun of me because he says I repeat myself a bunch of times. But I really hope that you guys invest in a stock. Doesn't, of course, I'm not recommending you guys buy any of the stocks that I'm invested in, but invest in your future. Really invest in your future. You don't have to put in like $1,000 at a time. You can put in $20 at a time for a stock. You can buy fractional shares. You could put in $100, $200, and just let it sit. And if you have a child, I would recommend, just throwing in like $10, no, like $100 at a time. Like some of the bigger stocks, they're over $100. That's why I have this whole $100 thing. Just put it in like ARKW right now. Let's see ARKW. ARKW is not stock. See, ARKW is 178 right now, and ARKK is 153. So if you want to buy this, like you would have to put in like $200 at a time. But let's say you just put in $200 at a time, and then the stock's gonna go up, right? So this doesn't. But let's say you could buy fractional. You just put in $200 when you first started. Then you put in $200 at the end of the year. Yeah, see, it goes up. Your little investment, your little investment of $3,600, assuming it goes up 15% a year, turns into 17,000, and it's just like putting in money. So some people, they have those little robo advisor ones where they automatically take out money from your bank account. I'm a big fan of that, by the way. I don't do it, but I'm a big fan of that whole thing where if you get a paycheck, you're instantly already having it set up. So let's say it takes out $300, $400 out of your bank account, putting it into the stock. That way you have dollar costs, you're averaging up or you're averaging down. And come in a year, if you're taking out $300 from your paycheck, that comes out to $3,600, and you don't have to do any extra work. You just continue just letting the thing take out money, and it just does the work for you. So investing doesn't have to be difficult at all. You just need to give it time, and you got to make sure you. No, I start all my videos saying that kind of stuff. Like, this is not investment advice. This is just me ranting, and this is just my opinion. I've mentioned it several times in this thing, but I do strongly believe, my opinion, invest in something. Invest not in a meme stock, because you got to time that stuff. That's what I learned from GME. You guys saw that I was up 100% on GME, and then I just diamond handed it, and then it went down. So it was an expensive mistake. I hope you guys learned from my mistake. And instead of beating myself up about it too much, I decided to pivot my portfolio. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I don't want to deal with that stress. So I hope that you guys don't go after the meme plays, because you guys will have a lot of anxiety if, let's say, you invest in a meme stock, you get sick with the flu one day, or your internet goes out for 3 days, right? You might be at 100%, and then 3 days later, you'll be at like 50% loss. That is not fun to play with. So something that's like a slow, consistent earner, kind of like the tortoise and the hare. They say like the rabbit moves really fast, but then it falls asleep, and then the tortoise, gets to the goal because it's just slowly working its way over. That's how I see long stocks. I see it as like, it might not seem as attractive as like fast growers. Like GME was a fast grower. AMC shot up radically. But if you just want to let's say, make your portfolio or make your stocks work for you, just have belief, have the faith, and it'll inevitably get there. It will inevitably get there. So yeah, let's see here. So again, if you put, I think this is pretty good. Actually, don't even put that. So $1,000 when a kid is born, 18 years, return rate 15%. This is pretty freaking realistic, right? I think 15% is pretty realistic. And then you don't put any money. Kid gets 12,000. That's not bad. That's 12 times more. But if you put in 10,000, of course you put in more money. They get more money. Turns into 123,000. And just gotta let it sit out. So yeah. I really, like, when I run these numbers, I really freaking wish I learned this in school. I really, really did. I would have probably, like, if I had known about this stuff back when I was in high school, back when I was like 13 years old or so, and someone, I don't know this, I don't think like, year to date and investment calculator was up back then. But if someone just sat me down and told me this stuff, I probably would have been happily retired right now. Like, yeah, I don't have to worry about anything. I just let my portfolio work for me. And yeah, so I can't turn back time, but what I can do is I can try to ensure that when I do have a kid someday, that my kid has gets the knowledge that I wish that I had, and they get to see the growth of their portfolio. And I hope that my kid understands the value of money, and I hope they understand the importance of investing. And if anybody tells my kid, don't invest because if you invest money, you're just gonna lose money, I hope my kid has the remembers like, yeah, well, back a couple years ago, back 10 years ago, my mom invested $10,000 into a stock account for me or into stocks, and it grew. So let's say if I had a kid and then in 10 years, like that $10,000 investment turned into $40,000 if it keeps continuing up. And yeah, it's so important. So 10 years old, kid could have 40,000, 11, 46, 12. Can you imagine a 12-year-old with $53,000 in stocks? Crazy. And then hopefully the kid doesn't get into the whole spend, spend, spend thing. I hope if I have a kid, I hope my kid is frugal. I hope my kid is a good human being. Really, they're a really good citizen of the world. I don't want my kid, like if I had a kid, I don't ever want my kid to be cocky. 1000%. I'm against cockiness, and yeah, I want to set it up in a way so every year, even if the kid doesn't understand these numbers for the longest time, I want to be able to tell the kid, hey kid, I threw in $10,000 for you when you were born, and now you're 2 years old, but I just want to tell you the portfolio grew $1,700 or something like that, or it's like that kind of thing. That's what I would want. And yeah, or whatever this, or $3,225. And I think if the kid is around that kind of stuff, kids learn like sponges, right? So if you have the kid develop a healthy relationship with stocks, and they understand about the importance of just letting things slide out, yearly, like over time, not just bum rushing the next GME. They will realize, like, yeah, all they have to do is just work, or invest their money in there and just let time sort itself. And yeah, so let's see, if I had a kid and then the kid turned my age, if it continually grew 15%, like that is a good chunk of money. So yeah, that is, yeah, it's just like, that's crazy. If it does pan out, if I can invest $10,000, and then when my kid turns 32 years old, I will be 64 years old, but my kid will be, well on their way to being maybe a millionaire, right? Just just living their life. And as I said before, I want my kid to work in fast food when they turn 15, or when they are able to, because it promotes a good work ethic. I don't want a kid to have this mindset that, oh yeah, people who work in fast food. Some people think this. Like, some people think people who work in fast food, they aren't smart, or yeah, it's because they have no future, or they don't care about themselves. That's why they work in fast food. But that's not the case. Some people work in fast food because they see it as a stepping stone. Other people do it just for having extra money. And other people do it because they can't find other opportunities. The job market is really tough, especially like now. So I want my kid to have that ability. I want my kid to work in fast food, because I want that kid to realize, like, every single person that you interact with, even if they're in the food service industry, if they're the janitor, you're not above them. They're people too. You got to treat them with respect. It's not like they don't do anything. Fast food workers work hard. You know, they don't get to sit down in an office job in AC, and you know, like they also have to move around, and then they also get some like asshole customers. I worked in fast food. I told you guys this like for 2 days, and that profoundly changed my outlook because I was so sheltered when I was growing up that when I worked there to help out my friend for 2 days because she was short at her family's franchise place, it made me think like, oh crap, wow, this is like hustle and bustle all the time, you know. Wow, holy crap. It's just like, and there was this one person I shared with you guys. He had a BMW, and I didn't know that some menu combinations weren't doable, right? So I told him it was okay. And then my friend stepped in and said, "Oh, sorry, she's new. You know, she didn't know that you can't do that kind of combination." And I will never forget how that guy just like looked as if like, it's like, are you stupid? Like, how could you like, you know, he gave me that look, and he had this air like he was royalty. And yeah, it's just the guy was just a jackass, long story short. So if I had a kid, I want my kid to experience that as well. Not because I want to put them through that kind of, you know, mental sort of thing that they will remember to, you know, make them think about, oh, people are assholes, but I want them to be very cognizant and very aware of how they treat other people. And I feel like children learn best from experiences, and if I have a child and my child remembers how they felt when someone spoke to them that a certain way, or how they got looked at a certain way just for working in fast food, then that builds character, and that builds more understanding and more compassion and empathy for other people. That some people, like when they see fast food workers, they treat them like they're invisible. They treat janitors as if they're invisible too. So yeah, so I'm happy to have that experience, and I share it with you guys because understand that no matter what job a person has, it's not like a person's worth is defined by their job. At the end of it, people have jobs because they want to make money, right? So don't think of like some jobs as absolutely useless, because if you're going to, let's say, McDonald's, someone has to make your food, right? So don't view people as like peasants or beneath you, or you know, losers or something like that because they make minimum wage. Always got to be nice. Even grocery store people, you know, people who stock grocery stores, like some people be like, oh, look at that guy, he doesn't have a, you know, he doesn't have a future, he doesn't wear like a business casual outfits like I do, what a loser. Like I've met people who have this kind of thinking. That's why I say this kind of stuff. It's like you can see, like even when I was in Hawaii, I would be eating at the food court, right? And there was this janitor who worked at the hospital I used to work at. Really nice guy, always friendly, right? And whenever he sees me, he's always smiley to me. I talk to him. He asks me how I've been doing, and I chat with him. And I was out with a friend one day eating at the food court at in Hawaii, and I didn't know he had a second job. So while I'm eating, I notice him from a distance, and I see his head is down. His demeanor is, you know, it's kind of like he doesn't want to interact with people. He looks like he kind of like, I don't want to say curled up, but you can kind of tell like it's he didn't look happy. And I got to thinking to myself, I don't know how people treat him at the food court, but it didn't look like he really enjoyed that job. And maybe it's because, you know, when people interact with him, they just kind of think like, oh, it's a janitor, whatever. You know, that guy probably makes minimum wage, and I make so much more money because I make $20 an hour, so I'm better than that guy. Yeah, that guy better clean that table because yeah, some people are like that. Okay, so when I saw that, I thought to myself, like, holy crap, it's really a different environment. So he works in a hospital. He's nice and smiley because he's around people who are supportive. And then when he works at a food court, he's just a completely different person. So I spoke with him and I saw him, and I was like, hey, you know, it's like, I didn't know you worked here. And then we were talking a little, and then I said, hey, you know, I'll see you on Monday or whatever. I think it was the weekend. So yeah, I wish him well. And there are real human beings behind a position. Don't think that just because someone has a what is perceived to be a minimum wage job, or like a job that people should look down upon, like even a garbage man collector, right? Some people, they think garbage man collectors are garbage man collectors make a good amount of money. If you don't believe me, look it up. So all jobs are important, got to treat all people with respect. And again, I want to make sure that if I have a kid, that my kid understands firsthand how shitty people can be if they perceive that they are better than you, just not because they know you, but because of the job that you have. And if my kid becomes humble because of that, or just has more empathy towards people, then I see it as a win. I don't expect my kid, of course, to work fast food for the rest of their life, but I want them to at least have that experience, and maybe they'll take a step back, and if they catch someone talking crap about a fast food worker, they'll be like, hey, you know what, that's not cool, and then share their experience with that kind of stuff. Or better yet, don't be around people who look down upon other people as well. You know what, people should be, what the thing is that, like, if someone is working, I have respect for them because they're trying to make money, and depending on the position, they got to go with more shit than other people. So yeah, I will support, and anybody who anybody who has a job, and I'll treat them with respect. Even if some people might like look down upon their jobs, but in actuality, we should respect everybody, right? We should treat everybody nicely, even volunteers. How do Blackberry and Clinton differ from Oreo? Blackberry is kind of shy. She doesn't like the guys approaching her. But Oreo on the other hand, he's kind of a lazy bum. He sleeps all day. He eats. He's very picky. Oreo, what about Oreo? Yeah, he's very low energy. He's very different from the other two cats, 100%. I love him a lot, like, don't get me wrong, but I have to take care of Oreo. Like, I have to brush Oreo more than the other cats. Today I had to wipe poop off of his foot because when he went to the litter box, he stepped in poop. Never mind that I scooped the litter box right before I went to sleep today. And never mind that I refilled the litter box too, so he has a good amount of litter. He has a clean litter box, yet he still managed to step in poop today. And it wasn't there yesterday night. So Oreo is kind of he needs extra help. So that's how I would describe him. But he's very cuddly, and yeah, Lewis tells me like he thinks Oreo is stupid because he's like, how could that cat step in his poop when he had a clean litter box? I was like, hey, maybe the poop moved, maybe he didn't know the poop was there. But I never see that kind of behavior coming out from Clinton or Blackberry. Clinton and Blackberry never ever step in poop. Never. Never. It's like I never have to worry about them, but it's always just Oreo getting food on his face, stepping in poop, his poop issues. He's a very messy cat. That's the best way I can describe Oreo, yeah, he will go to the garbage can and try to dig out food from his street cat days. He'll try to lick the dirty dishes. That cat. I love him to pieces though, but he definitely is extra care. So don't think that I don't have to worry about these cats, or they don't need any maintenance. Oreo would be like a little piglet if nobody wiped him down, if nobody took care of his, if nobody watched where he was getting poop on. Yeah. I know. I don't know. It's just like I still have to do that kind of stuff, but you know what? You got the clean cats, and you got the clean, cautious cats, and you got the cuddly, extra help cat. So together, if Oreo was a cuddly, clean cat, that would be great. That would be perfect. But he's not. He is a kind of clumsy, slow moving, sleep heavy kind of cat. But he makes up for it. He's such a cuddle bug. And yeah, so so that's all. And then Oriel's still fighting me with his dental powder. He's still fighting me with his supplements. Lewis is like, oh look, Erica, Oriel doesn't want to eat. And I said, what you got to do is you got to cut the food in half afterwards. You plop it in the container, and maybe he'll eat half of it. Oh, the live stream title. What about the title? Oh yeah, I was answering questions. Oh, look at this. It's the influencer here. What? Did something break? What? What do you mean did something break? What I would do if I had a kid investing? How is that something that broke? I don't understand. Nothing broke. I was just talking about how I would make sure that if I had a kid, then I would put $10,000 into an investment account for them, and then I would just let the money sit there or add a little bit money every year. And that way, by the time the kid is no. No, no. That way, if the kid was 18, the kid would have a good nest egg. So, for instance, right? Look at this. You put $10,000 in. You wait 18 years. It has a rate of return for 15%. Look, the kid can graduate. The kid can turn 18 with $123,000. You let that money sit in there for 32 years. Look, the kid doesn't have to do anything. It gets $875,000 just on rate of return. Isn't that crazy? The kid doesn't have to do anything. It just has to exist for 32 years, and it just grows. It grows and grows and grows, and then by the time they're 33 years old, then it turns into $1 million. It just like look at this. Look at 40 years old. Just look at the interest. See, it doesn't grow too much in the first couple of years, but then it just starts slowly, like 50. It slowly just gets up there and up there and up there and up there and up there, and then next thing you know, 23 years old, 200. Yeah, assuming it has a rate of return 15% a year, right? But can you imagine that? Like, how many kids can actually say that, yeah, they graduated and they have possibly, assuming this pans out, possibly like 100K in their stock portfolio, and then if they wait 5 more years, like let's say 5 more years comes out, 23 years old, they have basically $250,000. 5 more years happens, about $500,000, close to it, right? By the time they turn 29, it's $500,000 for sure, and then they just got to wait 5 more years, and then it just grows bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, so this kind of stuff, it's like a small, what's a small amount compared to like the end result, right? It just grows. It just really grows. So yeah, like at first, like I said, you don't see too much growth here, but then it just grows bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, so I would recommend that too. Get if anybody has kids or has kid on the way, you don't have to put in $10,000, but just have that conversation with your kid every year, because then you set up good spending habits, good financial habits, and the kid gets to see the value of just sitting it out. And again, if any person tells that kid, oh yeah, I don't want to get invested in the stock market because yeah, I'm gonna lose my money. The kid, if I had a kid and the kid was like 20 years old and someone says, oh yeah, I don't want to invest money because I'm gonna lose all my money, the kid could be like, my mom invested $10,000 into the stock when I was born, and now it's $163,000. And then let's say they still know that person 10 years later, the kid's at what is it, $662,000. And they didn't have to do anything. They just had to exist. But yeah, I really feel that in between, let's say 15 to 17, somewhere around here, formative years, kid has to work fast food, because it doesn't have to be like for years, but it's good for them to have that awareness about how it is to work at a minimum wage job and get that treatment from people. 100%. Very, very important. I want that kid to turn out right. And Yeah, and then the kid, the kid won't have any access to funds until they're 18 or maybe 21. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I should not give them access to any money until they're like 25 or something, because then they'll be a little bit more responsible. Mannequin, what are you talking about? If someone invested into GME right now and they throw in $100 in 60 years, it's gonna be worth $10 million. Yeah, so the whole thing with not surviving 100 years, the whole idea behind that is that's why I would go with like QQQ or ARK, something like QQQ, because it's been around for the last 15 years. So I have a lot of hope into it. I don't want to invest in something that I feel like can go kapoof in one day. And if it does go kapoof, I can always use the amount that, let's say, if ARKK Holdings close, I don't foresee it happening, but let's say it closes and then it turns into a cash out. I don't know how those ETFs things happen. The money from QQQ should be able to ride out for quite some period of time. And yeah, that would be beautiful if I could just invest $10,000 and see 15% return, no money contributed elsewhere. The kid turns 40 years old and the kid has $2.6 million. That would be on best case scenario, right? 15% return. But it's just making sure that your dollar now moves into something in the future. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but I will be so happy. I will be so happy if this works out, um, I don't have to worry about the financial stability of my kid. And I would also tell the kid, oh yeah, make sure, get a job, or make sure you live beneath your means. Figure out how much money you can withdraw from an account, or like live on very frugally. And I want my kid to be able to live the life that they want to, but I don't want it to be like them chasing luxury items or anything like that. And I think if I did this, like, my kid would not see it that way, because they would say, my mom spent all this time kind of nurturing and, watching over this portfolio. So why would the kid want to just splurge it all away? But if they do, let's say if the kid is, let's say, 36 years old or something, and they want to buy a 500, I'm sure houses are going to be more expensive than that by the time my kid's 36 years old, but it's something, it really is something. So yeah, but then they'll also realize, like, frick, if I just held on for 4 more years, that 1.5 million could turn into 2.6 million. So maybe they wouldn't want to buy a house, they probably would rent. And that's what my whole thing is. Like, well, would you really, like, if you had this much money, would you really want to pull it out and then you find out 8 years later it could have turned into 2.6 million? Most likely no. So there is some people who believe instead of buying property, you rent. And if you rent, you can use the savings that you have to comfortably live the rest of your life. And that's I'm leaning towards that, compared to living in a place where you have to worry about oh, you have, let's say, $600,000 that you have to left to pay to your mortgage. I think financial security or financial peace of mind is incredibly important. And yeah, so I will always be kind of pro renting, live in a low cost area, rent, and use the money that you have to just grow and grow and grow, and inevitably it will pay off. It just takes some time. Yeah, so Bitcoin went up today, and I saw that, and I was looking at it. I said, man, it went up like 12% or so, right? But I don't know. I don't see any downside about investing into Bitcoin in terms of, like, it's not going to completely go away, but I'm a little hesitant about, like, it going at the $40,000 mark and sustaining that for an extended period of time. And the only reason why I say that is, between now and the next 40 years, I don't know if Bitcoin's still going to be the big thing. Maybe it's going to be Ethereum instead, right? And it's just like, yeah, I don't know what happens between now and 40 years. So, and I know Bitcoin has these waves of going up and down and up and down, but my thinking is that just buy it when it's on a lower amount and then see how that goes, or do a small amount, do $1,000, and then if Bitcoin hits $500,000, right, then your $1,000 Bitcoin turns into $10,000. So yeah. And then if it goes down lower, then you just lose out $1,000 if it completely goes to zero. But it's not going to go completely down to zero. Yeah. So yeah. So I gotta go eat something, and yeah, I've been on the stream for like 2 hours or so. But I thought it was really important to tell you guys this stuff because I want I want everybody to to see this kind of stuff. And maybe there's some flaws in this stuff, right? But just understand that it's important to invest. It really is. There's more upside than downside. And when people talk about the rich getting richer, this is exactly how it happens. When people who are invested in companies for a long period of time and they just kind of stay in there, it's like their money just grows bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. So, yeah, I wish you guys all the success with investment. Once again, this is not financial advice. This is just my little opinion, but I want everybody to be well financially and just cut your frivolous, stupid purchases if you can. If any of you guys were thinking about buying like $1,000 stupid stuff, or buying like a brand new car, and think about just buying a used car, using the money that you would have spent on a new car and invest it into an ETF, a good ETF. Not, there's some crappy ETFs out there. SPY doesn't do so well in my opinion, but you will, instead of throwing your money into a depreciating asset like a car is not going to appreciate, okay, unless you have a limited edition car with man or you're a celebrity. Like, let's say you are famous celebrity, and then people love you, buy random stuff from you, that kind of stuff, like super celebrity, okay. You are not going to be making your money back on any vehicle that you buy. So that the price of a vehicle every year is just going to go lower and lower and lower. Might as well throw some money into a stock or an ETF, and that way there's a possibility of, instead of your money depreciating, it's appreciating, right? It's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So have less expenses, have more investments that grow, and at the end of it, you might be really happy, and you'll be like, man, that was a good investment. I have less stress on financials now, possibly, right? Or you can, in my case, I want to make sure that if I had a kid, my kid is off to a better footing and has awareness about investing. Yeah. So we will see. See ya.